Equals One, the brand new album from classic rockers Deep Purple. Sounds like Deep Purple, but how does it fare for a couple of casual Deep Purple fans who know only the hits, like myself and Hector the Chill Dude on a couch? Let's find out on this edition of Rock Album Review. What's going on, everybody? It's Nick here with you. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another rock album review for the brand new album from classic rockers Deep Purple. It's their 23rd studio album. I think it's called Equals One. It's kind of hard to tell. It's got the equals and the one in there, so I think it's Equals One, the new album from Deep Purple. And for this rock album review, I'm joined by a very special guest. I have Hector the Chill Dude on a couch. Joins me for this review. How you doing, Hector?
I'm doing good. And yeah, it's equals one, goddamn math.
Don't make me do math when we're talking about these albums. We
I
are
know,
music
man.
fans. Yeah, this is not our forte, but yeah, I'm taking a cue from you because I'm in the middle of moving, and I am also today just for a little bit an honorary chill dude on a couch, just like Hector.
No, man, I've done videos moving. I improvise. I never taking a break, and yeah, it looks like you look like you're like in a bunker,
Yeah, I know.
ready.
I'm ready. I'm hunkering down with all my bins of actually like lots of CDs and vinyl everywhere. Like I still have a pretty large CD collection that was a pain in the ass to move. So yeah, right in the middle of the moving. So soon we'll set up another rock room and it'll be ready to go. Let's talk about this new album from Deep Purple. It is their 23rd studio album. This is the follow-up to 2021's Turning to Crime. And I don't know about you, Hector, but I was somebody who heard a lot of Deep Purple growing up because it was on in my house and it was on in the car. My mom is a big fan of Deep Purple. She grew up with all their music, and so I'm familiar with the hits like Smoke on the Water, Hush, Lazy, Highway Star, Space Truckin', Woman from Tokyo. Those big songs that get played on the radio over and over and over again. But I've never actually listened to a full Deep Purple album, even though I own a bunch of Deep Purple albums on vinyl. I inherited these from my dad when he gave up his record collection, so I have a lot of actual Deep Purple records in my collection. But I never really rated them as high as like other rock bands of that era. When you think about the great '70s rock bands, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath, Supertramp. So that's kind of like where I'm at with Deep Purple. I'm actually going to see them live in August 25th, I think. I'm going to go see them in Toronto with my family. My mom's been dying to go see them, so we're going to make a family trip out of it. But Hector, before we talk about the new album, like what is your relationship with Deep Purple? Are you a listener? Are you a fan at all?
It's non-existent. Like
Non-existent.
I just listen to the hits, and like you, I don't know. Like I listen to Black Sabbath, and I listen to some like the hits for Deep Purple, but I never really paid that much attention to them. I know they're rock royalty, but yeah, I've never really quite listened to them. And unlike my family, my mom, no, she didn't like that type of music. She liked Beach Boys, the
Nice.
Beatles, but Deep like if anything like was for her, heavy metal was Kiss. So
Yeah.
like anything harder than those bands, she was not a fan of. So I've never really actually listened that much to Deep Purple. And yeah, so this is my first time also listening to a Deep Purple album in full. I know
Same.
they're gonna take our rock privilege, even though I
Yeah.
think Deep Purple is more like to me they sound more like a blues rock band.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely more that blues influence, and they've gone through a lot of different lineup changes over the years. They started
Yeah.
out with a
I
different
know.
lineup, and yeah.
Yeah. And Ian Gillian, their singer now, at one point I think he sang for Black Sabbath at
M-
some point, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah,
Someone correct me in the comments, but I do believe he sang.
yeah,
Will Black Sabbath has had a lot of members, and I think for a hot minute he did sing for Black Sabbath, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. So yeah, we'll have to get everybody in the comments to fact check us on that. I always defer to the comments because I know people will always correct us if we're incorrect about something. But so let's talk about this new record. Equals One, their 23rd studio record. So for me, um, I don't want to knock these guys as being older because I am also old. These guys they're definitely older and they sound like it on
Dude,
this
but
record.
we're old, but they're really old.
They're really old, yeah. So they're like your dad's band playing at a local bar. That is what the vibe I got from this. I feel like I could go see these guys in Hamilton here in Canada, just like around the corner at a local bar playing some of these songs. But the thing is like, I don't want to knock them for being older because I'm also not young. I've been myself playing in a band for 25 years. This is my 25th year of playing music, so I'm also old as fuck, just like the guys in Deep Purple. But and the bands that we of our generation, they're older now too, right? Like, I listen to Oasis. They're my favorite band. So, and they're old. They're 30 years old this year. So, I thought this album was okay. It does sound like a little bit like I was saying, like your dad's band playing in a local bar, that kind of thing. But I actually thought my most enjoyable thing about this record was probably from a guitar perspective, because I found this to be really enjoyable as a guitar fan, as a guitar player, and that's to be expected with a band like Deep Purple because they're known for having classic riffs like "Smoke on the Water" and songs like that. But I thought there was a lot to enjoy here as a guitar fan. There's a lot of really great solos. I thought there's some really great jams on here as well. I liked a bit on the side. I like Sharpshooter. So even with songs that are clocking in at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, they still found a way to put a really great solo in each song, even if they're pretty short. But then I found as I got towards the middle of the album that it got a little bit formulaic for me. Then they started to follow the same path on every single song. And then as much as I was enjoying maybe the first 3 or 4 tracks on the record, it really started to lose my interest towards the middle of it. And that's not really, I don't think that's a reflection of the band themselves, because this is their 23rd studio album. You and I both said we've never listened to a full Deep Purple album. So I don't think listening to album 23, both of us are going to be like, "Oh my God, this is going to blow my mind. This is absolutely amazing." So it did lose my interest, even though I felt like there were some strong tracks on here, but overall I felt like it's a band on their 23rd album. Like, really, how good is it going to get? I feel like hardcore Deep Purple fans will probably love this album, but for us who are definitely very casual with them, I didn't really get that much out of it. So, Hector, what did you think? Your general thoughts on this new album from Deep Purple?
So when I was listening to this on the couch, I was drifting into sleep. There's some part that I was like, oh, so it
Oh,
was like you saw my thumbnail for the Eminem album cover. It was like the couch was
yeah,
consuming me.
yeah,
Uh, I thought that the album, musically, they're great musicians. I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not a musician, but I can say like, oh, the music is bad. No, they're very competent musicians, great solos and stuff. But it is kind of boring.
yeah,
I gotta be honest. Like I was bored, not bored because there's a distinction because between bad and something that it's boring. Because maybe for some other people, not me, this is great, but to me, I found it, yeah, like it was formulaic, and I think Ian Gillian's voice, uh, maybe it shows his age.
right.
It was like a little bit like the sometimes the music overpowered the his singing. It sounded like, yeah, it sounds like it's an old man singing, like and that he's not the only one. John Bon Jovi had
Yep.
the same issue with his last album
Hmm.
with the vocal. You could tell that it's not the same. And I think I've listened to Ian Gillian's voice in the past, and yeah, he got a higher range voice. So yeah, it sounds like the voice is a little bit like strained, and I don't want to sound like a jerk, but they sound like they're tired.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah. 23 albums. That's a lot. Plus, touring and
um,
everything, right? Yeah.
yeah, like I said, musically, yeah, they're great musicians. There's some great solos here and there, but I also found that a lot of the songs then kind of sounded like very samey sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time you got to the end of the album, that's the thing. We listened to so many records, and this one's pretty long. It's 60 minutes long, almost
It's like
56 minutes.
52.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it
52.
felt like an hour.
It felt long, and it's like I think anything with an album or a movie, even if something is long but you're enjoying it, you're still gonna get a lot out of it. But if it's long and you're not enjoying it, then it seems even longer to listen to.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what my critiques with this album. I just found it like it wasn't easy for me to listen to, and what I did, since I know I went into listening to this, I didn't go like, yeah, they're Deep Purple, they're a legendary rock band. I went into it like I'm just listening to a band, and
Hmm.
I think that's the best way, because if you're thinking, oh, this is like a Deep Purple, I gotta be respectful. Like, no, I'm just listening to this like it was a band that I didn't know who they were.
Mhm.
And that's how I went into this review and listening, just listening. I think the good thing being a casual fan is that you can be more objective.
Mhm.
I'm like I want to be objective without being like insulting because obviously if I went here and said, oh, musically they suck, that would be like, no, they're great musicians.
Yeah. Instrumentally this album is really strong. I enjoyed listening to every song in that regard because yeah, Ian Gillan does sound a little bit he sounds a little bit older, which is okay. And I'm not, again not going to knock anybody because a lot of the bands I love are getting older and they're still doing their thing. But instrumentally, this album was really really strong. I felt there were some great riffs on there, and there was a lot to enjoy. It just got a little bit long over the course of listening to this record. So let's get to some of the tracks that we liked and some of the tracks that we didn't like on this new album from Deep Purple. Hector, you go first. Which songs did you like on this new album from Deep Purple?
So I like more the beginning. I like Show Me, Sharpshooter, and I thought Portable Door, which is the single, was a very good song. I like, they use that piano, that synthesizer thing. It's like part
Mhm.
of their sound. Like when I heard that sound, yeah, Smoke on the Water. I thought about that distinctive Deep Purple sound.
Mhm.
So I thought those songs, like the beginning of the album, started like more rocking, and then it's when it started to like every song blend together, and I started to drift away.
Yeah, it started to lose me a little bit towards the end. I think you're right. The beginning of the record is definitely the strongest part. I liked Show Me, although Hector, I don't know if you got this vibe, but when I first heard Show Me, it kind of reminded me of that Thor record that we reviewed for Is It That Bad on your channel.
Yeah, but Ian Gillian's a better singer.
Oh, totally. It just kind of the same, uh,
Show me.
yeah, that same kind of vibe going on there. But I really enjoyed the guitar solos, the different. You're saying that that synthesizer guitar sound that they're so well known for. I really liked a bit on the side. I thought that one in Sharpshooter had some really good jams in the middle,
Mhm.
and you have those great guitars. You have obviously the organs, which is a big part of the Deep Purple sound as
The
well.
organs, yeah.
Yeah, so they have those distinctive parts of their sound because even though we're casual fans, we can identify what those distinct parts of their sound are. Yeah, but then there was a couple. Actually, Lazy Sod was another one I liked, although it reminded me they have a song from back in the day called Lazy. So I'm like, is this a sequel to this song? Lazy Sod. It
It's the
seems a little
part
bit.
two.
Yeah, part two. But then the one of the members of Deep Purple was saying they wrote that song because he felt he was really lazy because he hadn't written as many songs as Dolly Parton in his career. And he said Dolly Parton has written something like in the range of 15,000 songs
Wow.
in her career, and he's only written like 300 or something. So he said I'm a lazy sod for not.
Think
Uh,
quality over quantity.
yeah, 100%. But then yeah, there were a couple of songs on here that I didn't really like. Old Fangled Thing was a song that I'm like, this sounds like dad rock or even granddad rock or
I
great
think
granddad rock.
it's grandpa rock. If
Yeah,
you
exactly. So and like we were saying, like Ian Gillan is a legendary vocalist in terms of when you think about the great classic rock vocalists. You got Robert Plant, you got Roger Daltrey, you got all these different vocalists, but I think he's definitely up there. But he does sound really, really cheesy on this song. And then the other one that I didn't really like was "If I Were You," which was
oh
I guess it
yeah.
would be like the ballad of the album, but it was a really bad
Yeah, I
ballad, and
didn't
it's
like
just
that one, and I didn't like Pictures of You.
yeah,
It's like two ballads back to back.
yeah, not
That's
a
where
good
it's
thing.
Deuce bottom for me. I'm like trying to awake. I'm like, oh please, but no.
Yeah, yeah, I know. So you didn't like fully asleep, but you were getting there by the time you finished listening to this record.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's give our general final impressions on this new album from Deep Purple. So Hector, what are your final thoughts on this new album from Deep Purple equals one, and what rating would you give it out of five?
Okay. So musically, this album is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's also nothing that I would say it's groundbreaking as well. Music, if I was just to rate this musically without anything, I would rate this a 3.5 out of 5. But I'm also rating the songs, how bored I was. So with that being in mind, I know they're a legend, but this is a 2.5 out of
Ooh,
5 for me.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just so bored with this record, and I listened to this record a few. Like people say, "Oh, you just listened to it once. You didn't give it a chance." No, I listened to it at least 4 times.
Four times. Yeah.
Yeah, because I listened to it like almost 4 times,
Yeah.
uh, and like I just to see like, oh, if it would get better, and I'm like, no, I kept being just as bored every listen, like and yeah, also, yeah, the voice for me, even though Ian Gillan's good, it sounded kind of like tired, and sometimes I felt like the music overpowered the vocals too much, and
Yeah.
it almost sounded like this was recorded in a bar.
It very much like I was saying, it sounds like the local band that you go see at the bar, the local
Yeah,
dad rock band playing Deep Purple covers.
yeah. But
It
I
sounds
wanted
a
to
little bit
make
like
the
that.
distinction that, yeah, no, musically, if I would just to rate this like the
Yeah.
music, 3.5 or a 5, but with everything combined, I take 1 point away. So it's a 2.5. So it's an okay record. It's
Mm.
not bad, but it's where I would I would give mid. If
Yeah.
it
If it
eh,
was isn't that bad on Hector's channel, that would be the thumb sideways.
but I gotta say, yeah, like, because I'm not gonna sit here and say musically it's atrocious, because no, it's not. No, they're
Yeah.
very talented musicians, but
Yeah.
it's just so boring.
Yeah, no, that's the thing too. Like, and it's like we have to say that when we do our reviews, it's not really knocking because all these bands are great musicians. Even some of the worst bands that we listen to can play. That's not a problem. It's just
Mm.
sometimes whether we like the songs themselves. And I'm kind of with you on that one. There were a couple of songs on here that I could take away. I liked Lazy Sod a bit on the side. I liked Sharpshooter as well. But at this point in their career, they're 23 albums in. They're not going to be writing anything that's going to eclipse Smoke on the Water or Woman from Tokyo or anything like that.
It also makes you think, do we need more Deep Purple albums?
Yeah. But no, but we were just talking about we were talking about how Smashing Pumpkins just announced a new record, and like we're Pumpkins fans, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm excited, right? But that's like for somebody else who's a casual fan of the Smashing Pumpkins, they're not going to give a shit about
I'm
whatever.
not gonna
Like,
give a shit about it. No.
and there's definitely not any songs on the new Smashing Pumpkins that would live up to their old stuff. I'm just like, well, I grew up with the Smashing Pumpkins,
No.
so
And
that's you know,
I can announce it right here. When that album comes out in 2 weeks, we're going to cover it for Is It That Bad on
yeah,
my channel. And of
100%.
course, Nick's gonna be for that one.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I got to talk about the Pumpkins. But yeah, for Deep Purple, 23 albums in, I don't think they're really going to make it's not like I don't think we're going to at the end of this be like I'm going to go back and listen to the previous 22 albums and really go back and enjoy all the Deep Purple. Like I don't think either of us are going to do it. But yeah, I think it did this thing did make me a little bit more excited to go see them play live because then when they go play
Do you
some of these new
imagine that you go
tracks,
see them live and they just play this album in full?
that would be, I'd be the only one who would know what they were playing. I'd be like, oh yeah, me and Hector talked about that song a couple of weeks ago.
No, I'm sure
So
they're gonna play the favorites too.
yeah, I hope so. Yeah, so it should be good. But I'm gonna go with you on this one. Maybe not as low. See, I feel like I always give everything a 3 out of 5 because like
Yes,
there's
your channel should be called 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. So maybe I'll, you know what? I will knock this album. I will be fearless and say I'll give it even less than you. I'll give it a 2 out of 5.
Oh,
Because it's
bit
again
controversial.
been controversial because the thing is like I think I just like I love music. I don't want to really knock anything because I just like, I can appreciate the work that went into it, but not really anything for me to grab onto. So I'm gonna go even less than Hector and give it the 2 out of 5.
Yeah. Now they're gonna take you, like, they're gonna be like in the concert. They're gonna stop. Ian Gillian's gonna be, stop the music. Where the fuck is Nick Zeno?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get him out of here. Yeah,
Get
exactly.
out of here.
Get escorted out of here. I'm like, but wait a minute, I gave you a good review overall. You
Get
know,
out of here. And they're
yeah,
gonna their
yeah,
smoke is full.
yeah. Bring Hector in here. He's the one who liked the record more.
Bring Hector, yes, and
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, no, yeah, I was almost gonna give it a 2, but I gave it a 2.5 because musically, and since I don't play any instrument,
Yeah.
uh, that's why I'm like, no, musically, yeah, they're good musicians.
Yeah, you're going to be the generous one on this review. So Hector's a 2.5. I'm going to give it a 2 for the new album from Deep Purple called Equals One. Let us know what you thought of the record in the comments below to let us know if you're a hardcore or old school Deep Purple fan and where this one ranks in your Deep Purple fandom. And then you can rip us for not giving it a high enough score on this review. So that's it for this rock album review. Hector, the chill dude on a couch. Thanks for joining me on this episode. Where can people follow you and subscribe to you on YouTube?
They can follow me at the Chill Dude on a couch, and on Instagram is the Chill Dude on a couch as well. And I also have a Facebook page, Hector the Chill Dude on a couch.
All right, check it
You
out.
can follow me there.
Yeah, and you got some merch, I think, right now. You got
I
a
got some
t-shirt.
merch at fretless.com. I think put Chill Dude on a couch. I got like shirts, mugs with that logo right there.
That's awesome. That's a great logo. So check out Hector the Chill Dude on the Couch. We're gonna do some videos over on your channel soon. I don't want to spoil anything, but we got some good ones I think we're gonna talk about over on
Yeah.
your channel pretty soon. So yeah, and then you can follow me on social media as well at Nick Chino Music, and yeah, follow and subscribe here on the channel. And thanks for joining us here for this rock album review. We'll see you guys again for another video here on the channel. Until then, rock on, everybody.